cargando en vivo. Vivo.
We're live. Okay, guys. Hello and welcome. Happy Thursday instead of Friday like usual. We are streaming live from Paladora Co-Creation Campus. Boom, take a look, giant palapa, beautiful people in the crowd, and a beautiful guest, Mariana, talented bioconstruction architect, designer, engineer, right?
Yeah.
Primarily, fellow engineer, and here to share a bunch of magic with us about the organic and magic of Super Adobe, which we are familiar with from our first community here in Mexico, Icumal. The architect there will also be joining us in a few minutes, and we will be having a beautiful discussion about the powers of sustainable design, implementation, and what all of that looks like in different forms in Super Adobe, in mixed construction, and our architect friend Angel, who just arrived, who will be discussing his transition from traditional architecture to organic and more sustainable methods. Angel, join us when you're ready. Okay, so Mariana,
Hi.
tell us about yourself, love. Welcome. Happy
Thank
you're here.
you.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, as you mentioned, my name is Mariana Jimenez. I'm a civil engineer. I'm Mexican, originally from Guadalajara, Jalisco. I haven't lived in Mexico in many, many years, so it's nice to be here in this part of the country as well. But there's like so much of this
Right.
going on, a lot of sustainable options and interests. So yeah, thank you. Happy
Cool.
to be here.
Yeah, welcome. So how did you first get into Super Adobe?
I have a little presentation. I
Okay,
don't wanna
beautiful.
jump
This will
into
answer
it.
most of the
I'm
questions.
touching base.
Let's
I
start with
talk
the
about my
presentation.
journey.
I'm
Sure.
excited to hear. This is Angel, by the way. Angel, welcome, my brother. Mariana, do you guys know each other?
No, not yet.
Okay, beautiful. Meeting of the minds. Great minds in both directions. I explained Angel is a talented architect, project manager, really the brain and oomph behind getting things done.
Nice.
Wonderful track record in Quintana Roo, and really transitioning into this new organic, sustainable space.
Cool.
So we'll be hearing more from Angel soon. Mariana, we're going to put your presentation on the screen.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I'm gonna just share a little bit of my journey and how I arrived to building with Super Adobe.
Okay,
There we go.
Hit it.
So that's me. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I have this background in civil engineering. My interest was always to do sustainable building. And I thought going to school and I thought they were going to provide me these skill sets, and I realized that that was not the reality. They just really teach you how to build with concrete and with steel.
Right.
So after I graduated, I really wanted to tap into this space. Like I wanted to learn how to build with earth. I wanted to learn how to build with all these techniques. And so that took me to
What did you study in school?
civil engineering.
Civil engineering.
Yes.
Okay, right. So they just taught traditional methods.
Traditional methods.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
That took me to India,
Okay.
and I ended up in this place called the Earth Institute, where they taught me how to make bricks with earth.
Amazing.
It's this machine, the orange machine that you see here. You make bricks,
Okay.
but they're made out of earth. A little bit of sand and a little bit of cement. And then I couldn't find a volunteering job, like an option, so I got certified on how to make these bricks for a month. And then an earthquake happened in Nepal,
Oh,
2015. I don't know if you remember, it was a very strong one, like 8.2. It was like really, really strong earthquake, so they needed help. They needed volunteers, so I made my way to Nepal. I found Conscious Impact, which is an amazing NGO. It's where I call home. Till today.
In Nepal,
And
beautiful.
in Nepal, yeah, in a rural community. So we started making these bricks. They had bought this machine without even me knowing. Like I showed up and they're like, we bought this machine. I was like, oh, I got certified on how to make these bricks. So it was just clear, and I stayed there.
Right. Yeah, the universe speaks pretty directly,
Pretty directly.
especially when you're aligned with Mother Earth.
Yes.
When you're working for the environment, it's like the path is so obvious. Sometimes it's really
Yeah,
beautiful.
I can't I just got certified I graduated 4 months later. I took this, and then oh. Yeah, pre-aligned, pre-organic, and just pretty meant to be completely honest. So it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. While I was there, a lot of teachers and builders came through. So I really got to put my hands into all these techniques. I learned how to do rammed earth, wattle and daub, bamboo, like having understanding of like also like this bottle bricks, like you just put plastic inside them. So like there's
Eco bricks.
Eco bricks, yeah,
Eco bricks.
exactly.
Yeah, we worked with Eco bricks closely
They're
with
amazing.
Diego
Yeah.
at Ikumal.
They're, like the amount of plastic that can like fill in just one little.
Right.
It's like
So simple. You
it's
need a
so
stick
simple.
and
Yeah,
garbage.
that's it.
It's a gift.
Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Just away from the ocean and into the walls, you know.
Right.
So like, and also tapping into this idea of like, oh, you can also do earth plaster, and you can do earth floors, and like you can just basically just build with earth. And that was just like an amazing experience for me to just really put my hands in the dirt and just understand these different techniques. And again, there are many options, and they all have the good and the bad side, like everything in life.
Yeah,
so
polarity.
so I was just able to be there for like many years and having a lot of teachers coming through, a lot of builders coming through, and just like soaking up everyone's knowledge. And then one day, one of these teachers and an amazing friend and a mentor as well, Nitan, an Israeli builder, he wanted to build with earth bags. And that was the first time that I ever encountered this technique.
Okay,
And
earth bags. Yeah.
so I was just like, wow, like it was amazing. I just fell in love with it. It was so fun. It was
Because
so
it's
fast.
very efficient, more than making bricks one by one. It's more,
It's earthquake resistant.
Yeah.
It's
And
earthquake resistant.
Okay, nice.
It was approved by the government of Nepal.
Wow.
It's cheaper. It was much cheaper. So like when you're
Cool.
working in like rural communities that you know
Right.
they don't have a lot of access to resources, this was just like a great solution, and it just worked. And people were like, you know, it's you go into rural communities, it's tough. They're not always like super open to like everything.
Right,
So it takes time. But they were happy with it. Like just waiting to see like is it gonna work? Is it not? It's been many years now, so they know it works.
Right.
So that was my first intro to that. As a civil engineer, I needed more than just putting my hands on it.
Okay.
So I took a couple of workshops with called Earth. So I wanted to mention this. A lot of people don't know. So earth bags and super Adobe, they are different things. It's the same technique, but when in order for super Adobe, it's a registered term brand, and it's only when you're going to build in a dome shape or a vault. Like
Okay,
you have
right.
to,
That it closes on the top.
exactly. You have to use the arch shape.
This is super Adobe.
This is super Adobe.
Right.
So in order to like call it super Adobe, it has to be in an arch or in a
Okay,
dome or in a
okay.
vault,
Cool to know.
because you're taking the element of arch building, like all of what it brings, like the
Right,
like. So that's called Earth. The architect passed away a couple of years ago, but his son and daughter still run the institute, and they are amazing. They're trying to get it approved, like code approved in California, which is one of the most difficult states I think in the world to get it approved. But it's earthquake resistant. It's amazing.
Nice.
And earth bags, it's the same technique, but vertical walls. Like you don't have to close it on the top. Like
right.
you can just
go vertical and then any kind of roof. that you want.
exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. So
Cool.
that's the main difference. So
That's a good difference. I didn't know this
Yeah.
difference before. Yeah.
I mean, you can refer to it super Adobe, but just like it's good to know
Yeah,
once
yeah,
you're,
yeah.
tapping into this.
So what if
space.
you fill these earth bags not with?
With
right,
soil.
Adobe is like clay based.
Yeah, so I think that also the
Usually.
name is a little bit confusing sometimes because people like we know Adobe bricks. We have Adobe bricks, especially like
Right.
in Mexico. Super Adobe is just the word, but yes, you
Right.
put clay inside, but I also think it's kind of confusing the
Okay,
name.
yeah.
Because basically one of the advantages of Super Adobe or earth bags is that you can put anything inside.
Right.
Like sand or like to make Adobe, for example, you need a high content of clay, which in this region you don't have, or in
Right.
many other regions you don't have.
Right.
So the advantage is like you can get basically quote like any kind of soil
Yeah.
into these bags, and that's one of the huge advantages. Like you need to
Right.
have the specific percentage of clay or the specific like it's
Right.
just any soil could work. So that's one of the huge advantages of this. This is just an example of like something hybrid, for example. Like this is a dome with a room. Like this is
Right. Yeah.
both techniques in one. To build with earth, the base of everything.
Yeah.
You have to soil test. Like you cannot have just one recipe and have it everywhere because each land is gonna have a different.
Right. Humidity's
Content.
different. Land's different.
Yeah. So you have lime. You have silt, clay, sand, and gravel. That's what makes our soil. Organic matter should never be used to build. Organic matter is meant to grow food for agriculture, but you never want organic matter to be in your structures. Okay. I'm focusing here just on the local material that I found, which is Tascab. If you're not familiar with it, it's powder rock basically.
Okay.
And then there's other one that they call cimentante locally, but I think it's also like a mix of a little bit of clay, sand, and gravel, and it's also found no more than a couple kilometers
Okay.
from Tulum.
Is Sascab like cal?
No, Tascab is it's powder stone.
Powdered stone.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So it's very, there's a lot of areas that have this, and
Yeah.
like a lot of people here built with that. That's what they call like also polvo.
Okay.
So I got here 7 months ago, so I've been doing some tests, and it works. A lot of people have asked me like, oh, you can't build with this in Tulum. I'm like, no, you can.
You can. Right? You just have to do the right testing and find the right ratio of things.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. So what I use it's to stabilize it's lime. Lime, it's a carbon, like it's a neutral material, just because everything that it releases, and then it takes it back.
Nice.
So lime, especially in Mexico, it's really affordable. It's
Yeah.
like cheaper than cement, and it's better for the environment. So you should work with lime if
So
if you can.
win-win-win, right? And
Yes.
so these are the fundamental changes that you didn't even learn this in school. You explored and discovered it yourself.
Yes.
And it's sad that people aren't even given the option or introduced to this topic and allow them to do something different.
You approach it from not a place where you can build I had classes of soil, but they never talked about like, oh, you can build with this. Like they just don't like in school they don't believe like they
Right,
be like,
right,
oh,
right.
the old old towns build with Adobe, but it's not strong. It's gonna like they just don't believe in it. They don't teach you. They don't give you
Yeah.
any. So you do have classes about lime and cement, but like they don't teach you how to build with any of these techniques. It's just like, yeah, they teach you how to analyze soil. So that's
Okay.
something that one of the skill sets that I got there. But like all these tests and stuff, it's been through
Right.
experiences and workshops and other things.
Cool. Yeah.
So the main question, how does Super Adobe work? People like it's a main question like people don't have an understanding. They just see like this like white things and they don't know what they are.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just step by step. You have this roll, this bag of plastic, which yes, a lot of people are like, why are you using plastic? Like, how can it be green? For me, I am not a purist. I do believe just in balance.
Right.
And the negative thing about plastic, it lasts a long time.
Right.
So let's take the negative of plastic into our
Right.
our
The
advantage.
positive thing about plastic
Exactly,
is
it's
that
like-
it lasts a long time.
Yeah, so like I want my tractor to last a long time, so
Right.
sure, like I'm okay with that.
Right, right.
So you buy these rolls of they come like this, like in a giant toilet paper, and you can buy it from 2 kilometers, 4 kilometers. They have different sizes, so
Right.
depending on where you are, and the width will also change, and depending on your design, it's the width that you have to buy. Next, you have mixing team, a group of people mixing the soil with the recipe, the
Creating
ratio
the
that
recipe that you
calculated,
determined,
yeah, exactly. And then you put it in buckets, and it goes inside the bag,
Cool.
like just right here, like in the picture, like
Right.
and it's it's super like simple, fast going, really engaging.
Nice.
After you fill the bag, you're gonna tamp it. So you're gonna go on top of it and just tamp it, compact it. That will help you to just
Right.
just give it just make it like solidify. And whenever you have clay or cement or lime, you're gonna just tell like if you just let it loose, it will harden, but not like it will crumble.
Right.
When you like give it
When you
that
pack
impact,
it.
that energy,
Yeah.
then it's just like okay, this is the
Cool.
shape that I'm supposed to take. So
Right,
it
right,
knows.
right.
And the last step, it's the barbed wire. That will
nice.
work as a mortar. Like you don't have a brick and a brick. You
Right.
have
There are a
mortar.
bit of cement in the middle
Exactly.
usually,
That
right.
will make it's like the glue in between bricks. So the barbed wire has the same function. It's
Nice.
it's tying the bags together,
Right.
and it also adds tensile strength. So that's just like an extra thing that
Nice.
it works in that space. So those are the main steps: bag, mix, bucket, tamp, wire, and repeat, and you get things like that. Like you can do circles, you can do arches, you can do one of the things that I really like, you can put steps into the spaces, you can put shelves, you can put countertops, like you can
Okay.
be really creative,
Yeah,
or like
right.
frames or like plants, like you can be as creative as you want. And
like the very Tulum style where everything is made out of the concrete around, but you could make it with super Adobe bags.
Yeah, exactly.
Or nice
Yeah.
earth bags.
And you can always have a little shell to put the copal, here, or like to hang.
Has to be copal.
Of course.
It's Tulum.
You're in the area. So yeah, you can do things, just be really creative. This is probably my biggest project. It was, this is in the Caribbean.
I was super impressed by this picture. When I saw it, I was like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah, it was.
Earthship.
It only took 3 months.
Where is this?
Wow.
This is in a little island called Dominica.
Dominica.
Yeah, not the República Dominicana,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a different
Where
island.
is it?
In the middle of Martinique, in the Caribbean, Martinique and
Okay.
Guadeloupe. It's just like you drive
Not Dominique.
north to south like in 2 hours. It's
Okay, and yeah.
It was a
so
very
yeah.
random connection.
Cool,
I ended up
cool.
there. So yeah, it was a big
This is
project.
epic. This is beautiful.
Only 3 months to lay the bags.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was and it was only a crew of we were 10 people.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah, and
Really cool.
it was on. I mean, it was 3 months of that, and I was still smiling at the end. It's just really really fun.
Yeah. It's a great shot. It's beautiful to see things in their transition.
And
Yeah.
to having a human there as a reference, because I think if you also see it, sometimes you can't quite tell.
Yeah,
but like
right.
having a reference, like that's a human. So yeah, we're talking about plastering as well. Just something to mention: these plastic bags, as long as they're not exposed to UV rays, they're not going to decompose.
Right.
So it's really important to cover them, obviously,
Right.
to plaster them. In this region, I think this technique was made in the desert.
Yeah.
So it works very, very well in dry areas, but here in Dominica, in Nepal, we also have like heavy monsoons. So when we talk about earth building, we say this common word about you want the walls to breathe, okay? If you put a lot of chemicals, if you put cement on both sides, you're tapping. Like it's
Right.
not gonna be able to breathe.
Right,
So
if you seal it on both
Exactly.
sides. Okay. What's
So-
the solution to this?
just seal it on the outside, but let
Okay.
it breathe on the inside.
Okay.
So by just using lime and sand, it's still breathable. And on the outside, then you can
cool.
add, and you don't have to add chemicals. You can, like nopal is a very common
Mm-hmm.
one in Mexico. Here you have chukum. I mean, chukum is a
Chukum is nice,
locally
right?
resourced.
Yeah,
So you can do an outside of chukum and an inside of lime. Like you can play up. There's no reason why it shouldn't work.
Nice. Ferro cemento, is this chemical based?
Pero cement is just it's a mesh. It's like
Right.
a mesh, steel, and concrete.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
got
it
Got it.
it works. But you
What
you
about
can
like
do-
aerated cement? Have you worked with this?
No, I've heard so much about it.
Yeah.
I am familiar with it. I've never done
Okay.
it myself.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's a great technique. I know it's like very light.
Yeah,
and,
right.
But for me, still the base, it's still cement.
Right.
And I do like the feeling of earth, like just
Okay.
like the soil.
Okay, nice.
And I'm sure I think it's a very efficient way of using cement, so it's like maximum capacity.
Right.
But I want the earth part.
Okay,
of
yeah,
it.
I understand that. The organic side of it. That's why we
Yeah.
walk around barefoot a lot.
Yeah.
Why we like to ground.
Yeah.
There's
So
a
that-
magic in it, yeah.
I think on the outside you can use cement. We had to use cement on the outside of in Nepal because it rains a lot. But in the inside we use lime so it can breathe, or just cob, or like you don't even lime if you don't need to.
Nice.
So taking Super Adobe or earthwax to the next level. This is a swimming pool built here in
Cool.
kilometer 10 on Cobara. So you can do
Come on, near you.
you can do many things, not just structure. But you can do retaining walls. You can
Right.
do like this. This is I think it's a new thing that now people discover that you can do swimming pools out of earthwax, and
Right.
it was super fun. We did this in 3 weeks.
Okay. Are you seeing more of a trend in the use of this technique?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
right.
people are just like they're asking more questions. They're
Right,
ready. They're like,
right.
okay, like how can we, and the fact that you're seeing it, and then like for me, that there's like an institute that has been working on it for
Yeah.
30 years or
Right.
more on it. Like it talks really good about. Like,
Right, it's a big validator.
Yes.
To see structures that are there and have existed and survive
Yeah.
and thrive. Even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
And now we're stepping, I think, into this new place of like, oh, what else can we make with this? So this is here in Tulum, and it only took us 3 weeks, and it was a group of 7 masons and myself.
Nice.
And it was pretty fun as well. And well, just
Okay. Yeah. Tell us.
Changing.
Tell
That
us
was-
about the magic you're going to share with us here near Tulum.
So as I mentioned, I've been here in Tulum for like 6 months, and it's coming to my end in this region.
Okay.
And what a better way to say goodbye to this land than providing a workshop. So I'll be hosting a workshop starting on Monday
Okay,
in Muyil. And Liyum, it's in Muyil. It's a little cenote, and we're gonna building a dome, 4-meter diameter dome
4
from start
meters,
to
okay.
end.
Nice.
And there's gonna be theory, and like there's something really magical, I think, of building something with a group of people that don't have experience, and just to feel so empowered that you can do that,
Right.
that you can build a shelter, that you can
Right.
build a structure. It's just amazing. Not thinking like, oh, I'm not an engineer, I'm not an architect. No, yes,
Right.
you can.
Right.
And so for me, one of my missions in life, it's just to share this technique with as many
Beautiful,
people
yeah.
as possible. So yeah, if you're around and you're interested, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, we'll definitely be coming through. You guys
Yeah.
stay tuned to the Instagram. We'll be streaming live we'll be recording some content
Of
and
course,
sharing
please.
this like magic that you're bringing to
Yeah.
the world, so more and more people see it.
Yeah. So that's me. That was my journey.
Okay,
and, I'm
beautiful.
sure you share my Instagram and stuff. And,
Yeah, we'll be sharing links. Maybe put the Instagram link in the comments. We'll drop that in right now. Okay, so anything else you want to share?
I'll be heading to Nepal. If anybody, we also have a community there. It's called Conscious Impact. I mentioned at the beginning, and I'll be back there. So I'm gonna be if you're in that part of the world or ever want to
Okay.
come to visit the Himalayan mountains, I'm there. We're there, and we're gonna
okay.
be hosting workshops as well over there. So that's where I'll be for the next foreseeable future.
Okay, beautiful. Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's have a little conversation here. Angel, have you worked with Super Adobe in the past? Have you built anything with earth bags?
Yes. I was very excited about coming here and meeting Mariana. Here, better?
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
Yes. I will like to share more with Mariana. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe in this next week. Yes. My background. Well, I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. So I'm Mexican also. I kind of study arts, but at the end, I ended up in architecture.
Right. It is art, man. Architecture is an art.
Yeah, I ended up there, and I was very, very concerned when I was young about like social issues and ecological issues. So I did my thesis about how to do alternative construction for the poorest people in the region in an ecological way.
Okay.
Because Monterrey is the mecca of concrete, steel, glass, so they don't promote alternative systems. In the contrary, like financially and somehow the industry has, they just push for
Right.
their own.
They lead people down the traditional.
Yeah, for example,
channel.
before in Monterrey
Right.
they were doing mortgage for clay or Adobe houses.
Right, like helping with finance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Banks stopped doing that because
wow.
of some industrial agreements, kind of.
Right.
So-
This is the corporate mafia taking action.
Kind of,
Like in
yeah.
everything in life, man. Happens with oil, happens with pharma, happens with construction as well. It's interesting to hear that. Yeah.
So anyway, I did my thesis. I bought some books. I started reading, did like a work frame, and studied different like eco techniques, or like natural building techniques, and I actually realized or found out for myself that Super Adobe was the best technique for my region. What I was studying bamboo and blah 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 and this and that, but for my region, because we are northeast Mexico, is
Monterrey.
desert. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you will find a lot of mountains there and rivers and all
Yeah.
that, but it's like a breaking point because it's desert in the other side.
Right,
So all northeast Mexico mostly is desert. So I ended up going to Cal Air with Nader Khalili, studying the technique in 2005.
Okay.
Came back, finished my thesis. Part of my thesis was to work it out, right? To put it into reality. So
Right.
I knocked some doors. I ended up working for DIF, which is how would you say Mexican like national
Entity,
program
yeah.
for
Okay.
entity for helping people in general, like family or people that need help some way.
Nice. With housing specifically.
No, in general, it's like
Okay.
it's
A humanitarian service that helps
kind
families.
of, yeah.
Okay.
Let's say it's an institution in Mexico that helped with family issues and food and housing. So I got hired for the housing part for all the community in my state, and I start implementing this technique in there. We did some houses with Super Adobe, and in the way, even a little before and after, I was also doing some workshops.
Okay.
Also, so yeah, I did some projects. That was long ago, but I quit it a little.
Okay.
I had a presentation here ready.
Yeah, if you'd like to prepare, I sent you a link in WhatsApp. If you click into that link, you can jump into the stream with us.
I'm trying, but it's just popping an alert. Anyway, yes, I did some projects by my own, but then they were not really like commercially demanding in those days in Monterrey, particularly because what I told you, you know, of the market. So I give up a little. I was younger. I needed to pay my bills.
Right, classic.
I wanted to be independent and, you know, pay my bills. Thank you. And let's see if it works.
Yeah, I should be able to share.
Hmm.
Where's the presentation?
Oh, well, I have.
Oh, this is why we have to give
Yeah.
permission.
Don't worry, if not, it's okay.
Yeah, maybe. Can you send it to me in WhatsApp?
Yeah,
Potentially? Yeah, if you send it to me in WhatsApp, I can.
yeah.
Okay, so you were young, you needed money.
Anyway,
so you got into,
I ended up back focusing on job, like commercial,
Right.
industrial job in my hometown. I started doing management and construction projects. Then I developers and
Right.
another type of construction. I ended up going to Spain to study a master degree in project management.
Okay.
And well, I took the opportunity to study, to get my certification in permaculture.
Okay, beautiful, yeah.
It took me a while because since I got into all this in 2005, 2006, by 2007 I was already getting into eco techniques. I wanted to do my permaculture course, but it was 2 weeks, and in Mexico we just have 1 week of vacations.
Right.
How do you manage, right? So yeah, I ended up doing my permaculture certification in Thailand between one work and another, because I was working in India for 1 year on automation projects, high-end automation projects also.
What does that mean, automation projects?
Well, we were working on village and hotel, but high-end, like 5 stars and that type of thing. So, clapping your hands and the lights go on, or with your mobile, like
so
everything
interiors
automation,
to the hotel. Cool.
Building automation. Yeah, just also like residences, those years, 2010, it was really, really something that was,
IoT, the start of smart spaces.
and particularly in India, it was a way also for people from some classes to show, they were like in the top of the technology those years. Yeah, so automation control, basically.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, after that I got back to Spain, and it was the brick crisis.
Okay.
So 70% of the sector was with no work.
Wow.
So I ended up doing 1 year of woofing.
Okay, cool. Nice.
But because I was an architect and working with some of these techniques, instead of doing more like farming, I focusing more on building.
Okay.
So yes, I did some projects there. Maybe if you can open.
Here, yeah, I'm opening the deck right now.
No,
Give
the
me one
other one
second.
is very.
It's coming.
The one that I prepared is very heavy. It cannot go through. Anyway.
Okay. Should I open the one you sent me?
No, that's my portfolio.
Oh, okay.
Let's.
I have your Instagram here, and I have your website. I can open anything from there.
No.
Okay.
Let me. Anyway, don't worry. Yeah, I did there 1 year several projects with Super Adobe, and also I learned a little bit of straw bales.
Straw bales, okay.
Yeah, I was like doing
Can you share a little bit about this? This is another one of these, like, using natural materials to build structures that sometimes people can't believe aren't concrete, right? Like earth bags, I feel, are like this. Straw bale is an interesting
It's really
one too.
beautiful. So basically there was this community that they learned how to do this, and they were like several houses there, and they did a course there. I ended up going there, and I was always doing like collaboration, exchanging things, and getting like cheaper prices or discounts. And it's a very interesting technique. It's basically the same as old system, it's like masonry. You just put like these huge straw bales one over the other, and
Like giant bricks.
yeah, like giant bricks, and they're very like light, so that's good. I guess the worst part is like if they need to be really, really sealed, because if some animals go there, like a rat.
Right, they can make like a little house.
Then,
Right, here's some pictures. I just brought up some pictures.
Yeah.
Kind of Right. So you use
Yeah,
the
and
straw
it's-
bales as giant
It's
bricks.
the same. You can also put the steps.
Right.
You can also put shelves there.
Uh-huh.
And the problem, not the problem, but maybe the challenge with that is you cannot do too much organic like with Super Adobe. So most of the roof will be wood. But like, I really like the wood also. So
Okay.
I really love the technique. I never built again with that technique,
With straw bale, okay.
but yeah, I was one entire week building with the technique, and yeah, basically that's when I stopped. I cut off a little my natural building.
Mm-hmm.
That was already like on 2004. I did also after I came. Then I came to Mexico, and I did some permaculture talks and some little workshops about permaculture and dragon dreaming and all these things
Right.
that we had talked about before. But then I just focused on work. I came to the beach. I choose to live here in the beach, and I have been working for myself, or like let's say with my company
Yeah.
for the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
My last big project that I had was in Papaya Playa. I
Right.
also brought some things. Maybe I can share you the.
Okay, yeah, we'd love it. Share me a link on WhatsApp.
No,
I can bring it
I
up here.
wanted to show you the drive.
Okay, yeah, that works also. That's better.
So yeah, I mean in Papaya, for example, I went there to help because they are very used to. They really like to do natural materials.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, Papaya Playa Project is this beautiful venue space in Tulum, right on the beach.
Correct.
Mixes very natural feel
Correct.
with
You
a.
don't have the USB, right? No, you don't. No.
You have it on Drive or?
No, here.
Ah, it's in here. Okay, let me.
No, don't worry. If it's that.
Okay.
Yeah, so Papaya Playa, well, I built some 17 projects actually, like some big ones on the last 6 months. And there was this very interesting, let me see if I can send you something now through WhatsApp. Very interesting, project with ferrocement, for example. You
Okay.
can do also very interesting things with ferrocement. I think you would like to see these.
Okay, yeah, take your time, pull that up. In the meantime, Diego has arrived. Hello, welcome. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself, you guys. Everyone, this is Diego Zamora. Yeah, visionary at Ikumal, the first regenerative community that we worked with and co-created here in Quintana Roo. An example of an architect gone rogue as well. Never taught anything but traditional techniques and self-taught through books like The Barefoot Architect and other amazing sources. How to use these techniques like Super Adobe and the domes that he built by the same, testing the soils, making minis, making big ones, all kinds of styles at Ikumal.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah. Vale. Mhm.
So, well, basically, that's where I'm stand now. I mean, we have talked in the last year, you and me, and I have been expressing that after COVID, I tried to reconnect with all this part of my, hippie side, let's call it that way.
Right. Uh-huh.
And
It's a calling, man. It calls
yeah,
all of
it's,
us.
It's a calling.
Yeah.
Like Mother Earth is calling
yeah,
me
man,
back.
totally.
Like, he's asking his
Don't
kids
ghost
to
her.
come back.
Don't ghost her.
So I think there's a lot of potential, like talking about me or in this moment of like having this being able to mix both let's say experiences, you know. Right now I'm very thankful I'm having some new projects on Francisco May.
Okay.
So it's like I have been manifesting or coming my dreams through of like when I was doing all these 10 years ago, I wanted to do my projects, and now I'm having these projects that they are asking me for like
Right.
All these eco techniques, and they want solar panels, and they want to be off the grid, and they want all the raining water, captation, and they want to recycle, and and the compost and the toilet. So now it's getting this breaking point or catharsis of how my clients, which are real clients and normal people,
Right.
Mexicans and from abroad, like how much can we or can I,
Right.
put of all this into their projects because they want something sustainable. People want things, but they also want, to be comfortable. They also want to be
Right.
cheap.
Right.
So that's the challenge, but I think I have a lot of potential and I would like to do all this network, and I hope I have this intuition that Tulum is a vortex, a cultural vortex in the world, and I'm here in Tulum because it's probably the only place where I like to say as an architect, you can do this type of things and the market really demands you, and you can also be paid well or normal, not
Right.
doing just for free or volunteering, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's definitely a demand here for it. People come here for the nature, and they want to stay in the nature even when they're inside their building, right? Like here, we're surrounded by natural materials, above, around.
Yeah.
And a big key we've noticed is creating this bridge between traditional desires and comfort zones and these new techniques, right, that you guys all self-taught, which is amazing. And now the goal to build this bridge is to present it in ways that are attractive in all the ways, financially, aesthetically, and functionally. And so I think you guys are doing a really great example of that, which is why we're really grateful you're here, sharing your journey, sharing your stories, and your presentations. Okay, anything else you want to share, Angel?
No, thank you.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful.
I mean, I got a whole presentation, but
Okay, yeah, we'll
but it
try to
seems
pull
it's
some
so
more of
big
it
to
up.
go through
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
yeah. Okay, so the three of you, have you guys met before
No, but it's a pleasure
in
to meet
passing?
you.
Okay, yeah, happy to introduce you guys. This is like a meeting of the minds. That we seek to create more of this opportunity for collaboration to happen, for exchange of experiences and skills, and discussion is the first step to that,
Yeah.
right? So Diego, I would love for you to do an introduction of yourself. I'm going to pull up the eCumal page here and share some images as you're talking.
Okay,
So go ahead, introduce
I
yourself.
sent you the presentation.
Oh, perfect. I can pull that up.
Okay, thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be around great architects, great people, and thank you, Oscar and Jerry, for organizing this event. I'm an architect. Yes, I'm an architect from school. It was my third career that I chose after several not so good experiences in other places. And then I choose architecture, and I love architecture. I love to create. I love to do. I straight A's, straight good grades, and straight. I finish everything with good causes. But then later, when I came down here to live, I'm from the north, from Monterrey, and when I came down here to live, I realized that my school was owned by a cement company in Mexico. So it was. They were teaching us how to build everything with cement, everything with bricks, with normal construction work. So I just say, why always following this university thing, these things that they're always, and it was just always in my mind. No, I didn't was doing so much action, but it was in my mind. And then when I started living here, and I did my first normal construction, like blocks, cement, iron. I realized that it was not so in accordance to the jungle, not so in this reality, or it was just distortion from there. So I started having like these good revelations of why we should change it to different techniques. And one girl came out of the jungle. It was the only house in the middle of the jungle, and one girl came out, and a beautiful Argentinian girl who was just covered by some leaves in her body, and I was in my hammock, and I just see this girl, and I was like, what the fuck?
Mother Nature, man. Comes in many forms.
Talking to me, And I just stand up from my hammock. I was reading the Barefoot Architect that Oscar was telling you, because I was there for 8 months, just reading books, and no internet, no electricity, just like simple life.
The perfect practice, man. Getting to know the land and observing before you do anything. Proper practice, yeah.
Proper practice. So this girl told me to give me an idea. Oh, these super Adobe domes are popular in Panama, and I have seen them. And I don't know how to build them, but probably you're an architect. You can
Nice, nice,
You can figure it
nice.
out.
Okay, yes, a challenge. It was a challenge. So we start working on it together. We download some PDFs of the internet. We watch some videos of YouTube, and we start testing. We start testing after 6 months of testing different bricks, different soils, 26 types of bricks we did, with these different 26 mixtures. And until we got the correct one, we stayed with that, and then we start to do the cake. No? This was the process. After having this 6 months of preparation and an ayahuasca trip that just told me that was the way. No?
That confirmed, yeah. Again, Mother Nature in action.
So don't miss it. Don't miss it. So, yes. This construction started with first a hybrid that is a cave that we did there, a hybrid because it was already constructed some pieces of the house, but some space was left over, so we hybrid with the Adobe and the house, like the normal house that was existing. So then from there, testing these bricks, we jumped to the Super Adobe and following step by step with the manual. No, we download the manual. It's like making a cake, but a big cake.
Right. It looks like a cake. This is one of the domes on the property, yeah.
So if it says no, don't go more than 6 meter diameter interior, don't go, right? I have seen other persons doing it in Puerto Morelos. They did, I think we could do 8, and it fell down.
And the top collapses, right.
It collapses, so if you say there is for something, like it's a PhD doctor who is writing this.
Yeah, right.
So it was just following step by step, and getting the materials, no?
The clay. So here in Quintana Roo, in the Yucatan, it's like bedrock.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of clay. So part of the practice, I remember you telling me, was bringing the right kind of material in.
Yeah. That's why it was not so cheap as many people can think. In
Right.
this cheap construction, cheap will be we are in San Luis Potosí or we are in Querétaro.
Right.
That they have this soil, this
Everywhere. Right.
everywhere. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And you just have to buy the big 3,500 roll of plastic bag
Yeah.
that you order from a company in Michoacán, and then this roll gives you a space to create 2 domes, one and a half, and then of 2 floors. So it's better than just buying the little bags
Right.
of raffia.
The individual bags.
The individual bags.
Yeah, Mariana showed us this big roll where you pull it out, like trash
Yeah,
bags,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you pick. Awesome,
And you
yeah.
just cut it, you just
Right,
seal it,
right.
and you just start to mix, to put the mix inside. So it's more easy, it's more convenient for this type of construction. And then, well, you just follow the steps of how you want it, 2 floors. Okay, you do the rings without making the dome until the floor of the second floor. You put the chains, and it's connected in the center. So you start escalating the dome by taking the chain one eslabon out every time it's coming in. So it's perfectly aligned, so it can sustain by its own weight.
Right.
For hurricane proof, for storm, for flooding, for bullets.
Right.
This technique has to be followed in this direction, so it can be.
Is this the same technique you use
Yep.
to make the domes, the chains that come close? Okay, nice. Or you're going to do this at the workshop
Yeah.
next week. I'm excited to. I've never seen this happen.
It's
I'm excited to, yeah.
it's so it's like once you understand, it's like, oh, it's so easy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Like before, like I remember like not knowing, and also we're just like following like step before I took the workshop, and I was just like, how is it possible? And then once you see, it's like, oh yeah, that like, and
Right,
it's just
right,
like drawing in real size drawing,
Yeah.
and it just takes the whole idea of Nadir Khalil was like he just wanted everybody just I'd make it as simple as possible with like things that you can find anywhere. So yeah,
Yeah.
you can have this chain and you just like follow
Yeah.
the direction. And that's the boss. Like the chain tells you what to do, and you just sometimes it feels like you get to a point that it's a little bit scary. Like you
Yeah.
think it's gonna come, but you have to trust
You
and
gotta
follow
trust the process,
the
okay.
chain, and it's
Nice.
fine.
And wait for the 2 days that it has to wait, like the process of the drying of the because it's
Like the
calcium.
setting, so
yeah,
it
the
sits,
setting
yeah.
because once you are doing the circle, you appisonate it and you put barbed wire in between so it doesn't
Yeah.
move around. And then you have to wait
Right.
to do the next, so you can do something else. I think it's 1 day, no, that you have to dry the clay so it has more strength for the second day.
I think it depends on your mix, what kind of mix you're using. If it has a lot of clay, it tends to wait
Then
longer. But if like here, there's no clay, so like
Yeah.
if you're using Tascap or other things, it dries faster.
Will you guys be bringing clay in? No.
No, we're
Okay.
using cimentante.
Ah,
It's the mix that I
cimentante.
did
Okay.
here that it worked because
Ah,
Tascap I
yeah.
did 10%,
Okay.
and cimentante only uses 7.5.
Okay.
So it's a little bit less, and that's the one that has worked for me.
But clay, where are you're putting some clay or not clay?
It has a little bit of clay. It's mostly polvo, what they call here polvo. Which
Yeah,
is
but
just,
you buy it in the.
This is the sascabe.
no, this is called, they
the
call it
yellow
here
rojo.
cimentante, cimentante rojo.
Ah, cimentante.
Yeah,
Okay.
but-
verdad.
okay.
And it comes from the region. Like the people that buy,
Calica, it's con calica.
I'm not sure. I can ask the guy, but yeah.
Yeah. It's come from all the polvo that dynamite adding all the places.
They use that for. They've been using. I know, understand here for the roads. This is what they
Yeah,
use for
yeah, yeah, yeah.
below the
Sí,
road. And then
cementante es
they
como,
put,
como tierra inerte.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, well, these ones were made of 95% of Adobe, like red sand. So that's why not fully ecological, but it's a hybrid. It has 2% calcium, it has 2% cement, and 1% water. So that mix, we have to wait. I remember it was 1 day or 2 days, but each ring we were putting, it's really tough to put each ring because we have to be pouring in and then appisonating and all of this, but it's doable.
Right. So each round that you put, you have to pack it.
Yeah.
And then you make the chain small, and then you put the next one. And
If you
pack
are
it.
one single dome,
Right.
if not, it's the full thing straight.
It's flat. Yeah. Earth
so,
box.
so it can be closing on the top.
I remember doing up to 3 or 4 lines per day.
yeah. Yeah, I never stopped. Like you just go
But
from down to top.
but if you
There's
do
nothing.
more than 3 or 4, well, I remember there were, falling down, particularly if you start going like curve.
Okay.
So I remember, doing like 3, no more than 4 lines per day in the project.
And you were doing with how many Adobe? Or how many percentage of like
Clay.
Clay, yeah.
Like, I don't remember, but I get like 20. Because what I learned when they teach me that it was 10 cement. So with clay, people normally were doing a little bit more, just in case, because
Yeah.
it doesn't get so strong. Like,
Yeah, to my understanding,
it-
also, you don't want a lot of clay because clay will tend to expand and contract, so you want to stabilize it. So I think
That
you
is
can
what the
go.
calcium for, or the cement. It
Yeah.
has this accelerant. That's why it's mixed with a mixer. But that's how I learned it in
and
the
clay
Yeah.
clay takes much more time to
To dry.
book. Yeah, that's why I was doing.
not just to dry, to get like
Harden.
harder, yeah,
Yeah. That's
So
why
you-
it was more slow. The
more
process.
slow.
Uh-huh.
I think also color, they've done it just with sand, like no clay. They've done, just sand and cement.
I haven't heard on that.
I colored
sand and
just
cement.
sandbags,
Oh yeah,
just
they
sand,
don't
no
do
Straight
clay,
sandbags,
straight
yeah.
Well,
sand.
I don't know now. Back then, they were not doing cal. It was 10% of cement, and the,
Well,
and
the
the
cement has a little cal.
and the mix.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. It's interesting to see how these techniques, right, by region they vary, by source of learning they vary, by region it varies.
Well, when I stopped doing this, I was very, very keen into getting into Hyper Adobe.
Hyper Adobe. Okay, what's
Yeah.
this?
Well, it's just another raffia,
Okay.
but it's not. It's much more less plastic.
Mm-hmm.
You can Google. It's much more less plastic, and I never tried, but I think in Brazil it was very common, and I have this feeling it was much better because it's less plastic, but also it's more open the mesh. So it's like if you are doing Adobe,
Okay. Yeah. I'm
and the
seeing this,
wire
yeah.
and everything gets more
That one you need a higher contact of clay so that
much more.
instead of
high
like here the raffia, it's plastic against plastic.
Yeah.
The Hyper Adobe, it's more open, so it can like sort of connect, and the plastering, it's a lot easier because it sticks directly to the inside.
I still want to do it.
What did you- and in the plaster, what did you do? How much percentage of cement and Adobe, or like in the rendering?
The
The
plastering,
plaster.
for me depends if I'm doing lime or cement, if I'm doing earth or just sand. So it's been different every time.
But in the Super Adobe, it has been always different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on where I'm building. And inside I do no cement and no lime, so it breathes. And then on the outside I do cement usually, because in Nepal where I'm building, there's no access to lime, only cement. So that's all I had to do. So outside sand and cement, inside earth with sand. Clay and
You
sand.
can do mud.
Yeah, mud, sand, like clay and sand. And you can add straw as well in the first layer, and then the last layer you don't want straw,
Yeah, like-
or you want it really,
Like
really
normal layer, right? The first one is more tough.
chipped. Yeah, yeah. You do tests, like everything. You have to do like a lot of tests, see which one works. You make a big one on the wall, and one crack, or doesn't crack, one that goes like this. So I think a lot of like sustainable building or this kind of building, it is a lot of trial. Like just you have to do a lot of tests and see what works.
Have you seen it when you dig in nowadays, like 3 years after it? Have you seen what is inside?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, I haven't opened one.
Well, the theory says that it becomes a monolithic clay thing.
Uh-huh.
So I have break it because I have an issue with one of the toilets. And it was just the plastic was consumed. It was no more plastic bags.
Oh.
It was just clay together, stick
Yeah.
to it, and I was surprised because I just could render it so easy,
Yeah.
but it was just a monolithic form now.
Some people cut the plastic.
Mhm.
Some people take like they use it as a casting system, and then they cut the plastic because plastering is easier. So people they do all sorts of factors. I've seen people
right.
burning it, which I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen people cutting it. Like you can use it as a when you're casting concrete, you use wood. So they
Right.
use the plastic as a casting. for
As
the
a cast,
support.
and then they remove it at the end. Okay,
I'm sure they
interesting.
wait a certain amount of time.
Right,
so it
right,
dries
so
and
it
then-
dries right
But that's
and
also
settled.
I've seen people. I don't do it, but I've seen people doing that.
Okay, interesting.
I think it just goes away. It's just consumed with the same.
Yeah, for me, it's
I
like
have seen that.
yeah,
Like, so it's cool.
Well, with the sun, it goes very fast.
yeah. If you leave it exposed to the
Yeah,
sun.
but I think the layer between the lines stays there.
Yeah. Probably.
I think so.
So, questions about Super Adobe. What is the most interesting project that you've seen built with Super Adobe, for example? Something unique, something maybe you didn't expect, or do you usually stick to the dome structures in different shapes?
I mean, I really like the swimming pool.
The pool, right? I was gonna say,
That was
I've
really
never
cool.
seen that. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the original plan was for them to make out of concrete, and I was just like, there's no need to use that amount of concrete.
Right.
So for me, that swimming pool, it can be, very organic. You're making all the shapes. You can make steps. You can either it's just very creative. So
Right,
for me,
naturally dipping down. Yeah, cool.
It was a really cool experience
Mhm.
making
You make a natural pool.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, she showed us in the presentation. You can check it on the YouTube channel. It's on the live stream later. Okay, so Super Adobe, one of these beautiful techniques. What are some other sustainable construction processes that you guys have discovered and were maybe not experienced in and really loved? Right? So we have different ranges here, right? Focused on more organic structures is what you're doing right now, kind of a hybrid. And Angel, who is now on this focus to transition and meet new kinds of techniques, right? So let's start with you, Angel. What are some of the organic, sustainable techniques that you are most attracted to and excited to learn about or use in your practice?
Well, I'm very excited with wood here. I mean,
Wood,
I
right.
know do wood here, and it might be not something like I don't know how to say like maybe. Excited for other people, but for me is the material that is more abundant here,
Right?
and I have seen how easy and how fast they can build things like these, So yes, just look at this, For
Yeah,
me,
right. This place is, let me show you guys a
for
little
me
shot up.
this is this
Right,
is
this place
gorgeous.
is like full wood, giant palapa. It's epic. This man's responsible
Yeah.
for it right here. John Luke, legend.
And it's keeping traditional architecture. Is using material from the region. Is bio
Degradable.
degradable.
Right.
You can reuse it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this jungle project that you
Cool.
know.
Yeah.
And then,
Towards Coba or the one on Ruta Cenotes?
well, both, but I will focus on this one.
Tacoma.
yeah,
Cool.
of course. So yes, I'm starting to work on it, and I want to do wood. I'm very also feel attracted or curious by bamboo,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like the idea of bringing bamboo
Right.
from far.
Mhm.
But in the other hand, what I have seen with wood is that wood eventually gets rotten.
Right.
like I don't know here, but in Papaya, when I started working there, they, the amount of money they expended on the zacate, just replacing the zacate
Right,
in
right.
1
Zacate
year.
is like the palapa palm
Yeah,
leaves
was
for the
1 million,
roots, yeah.
1 million pesos, which is $500,000.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
Just on zacate, or
Mm-hmm,
replacements of it. So that's the thing with this. It's very beautiful.
Right.
But it's high maintenance.
Mm-hmm,
And bamboo is like wood, but much more durable.
Right.
You know, it's like waterproof by itself. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, it can be much more in the water than the
Yeah.
wood. So that's why I feel very attracted by that.
Okay.
And when I just one more comment.
Yeah.
When I was with Super Adobe, like I love Super Adobe, but I didn't feel as an architect. I saw it, so like you know, I didn't feel this. I didn't like the idea of marrying with the dome. Like
Okay.
it's fucking good, but I don't want to
Right.
do always domes all
Yeah,
the time.
that's a right idea.
So then I came with this challenge of doing like the covers. The covers, if you go to Ancestry's buildings, is always a problem.
Right.
And that's where bamboo, I think, is the best. I have friends in Colombia that they have done these amazing things. I met some beautiful communities and places in Spain that they were doing, like they are traveling around the world just doing
Right.
bamboo
Right.
projects. And I did a collaboration where the walls were, I had in the PPT, you know, the walls were on Super Adobe, and
Okay.
then the bamboo was for the cover. So I think, I believe in that type of
Yeah.
architecture.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Diego, like you
Sorry.
definitely connect with this concept.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
totally. About the domes and how you say, okay, I don't want to marry with Super Adobe, I want to do something else and change to different things. I also listen to you and I hear you, and I also, that's why I also created and John for spheres.
Yeah, here's a picture of one now. You can see it in the background. Let me see if I can find a better picture.
With different techniques using bamboo. The bamboo is super good, durable, wood as well, but hybrid with metal.
Yes.
And do you know about geodesic domes?
Yes.
Well, I like geodesic domes, but I don't like that it's just a dome because I don't want to get married. So a sphere is something really useful because in the lower part you can put all the services like a heater and and the air conditioning, and that is the place where nobody can see, that is covered by bamboo, esterillas de bamboo. It's the same bamboo but open, so it is like each bamboo like 30 centimeters. So you put it in flat, and you can create different kind of beautiful things, you know. So yeah, I also concord with you about not marrying the domes and about the bamboo.
Yeah, I really like to, as an architect, to mix materials and
Right.
systems and explore and.
Okay, so bamboo and wood. That's exciting. Mariana.
I just want to touch base. I don't mean to
Please.
it's a discussion. I have experience with bamboo,
Okay.
but it's not like you cannot have bamboo exposed to the elements.
Right.
Sun
will eat it up.
So the beautiful thing about bamboo is the grass. It grows really fast.
Right.
So in the time that you can produce a couple, like 100 trees of like hardwood, it'll take 20, 30, 40 years.
Right.
In that same timeline, you're gonna grow thousands of bamboo. So
Right.
that the way that bamboo grows, it's great. But in my experience, everything that when you do with earth or bamboo, they call it you need to have a good boots and good hat.
Okay.
Which means you need to have a really good foundation, a really good roofing.
Yeah.
And also with bamboo, you speaking from experience, like if you leave, and from teachers, I build with bamboo in Costa Rica. I know some people in Indonesia that from Bali, they build amazing things. They have green school over there.
Right.
Here with like also some people in the region, you never leave bamboo exposed.
Right.
Like you have to, and even if you notice here, you can do roofing with bamboo, but you still have to cover it. You still have to put a mesh, and it could be ferro cement, it could be chukun, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be grass, but yeah, like palapa, but like I do want to just refer, and also bamboo, you can't just cut it and build it. It has to have
Right, it has to get settled. You have to put it in the salt water,
There are natural
dry it
treatments, there are
right.
chemical treatments.
Right.
Like you have to harvest in the right time. So yeah, like it's
amazing.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
bamboo. I have experience with bamboo as well, and Yeah, I think architects are really drawn to bamboo
Right.
because you can be really creative and you have to think about these solutions and these connections and things. I'm a civil engineer and I still have that in my core. Where like
Right.
it's not my niche. I love it and I use it. I use it in the fall. We have access to it. But for me, I'm very biased. I love Super Adobe. Not just the dome, but mixing. I think for me, hybrid. The hybrid is what works for me.
Yeah, it's always a hybrid.
Yeah.
Nowadays you need to put a foundation with cement and put it up there or cover it with some of these or some other cement to protect it. But it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's just it's never absolute.
Oh, let's handle this. Give me a second. Sacaste el...
Hace mucho que no llovía.
Y de repente la lluvia. Sí, vi que traías tu casco.
Llegué todo mojado.
Creo que alguien se moja.
Qué padre, amiga, que andas con todo esto.
Sí, no, pues también fue muy...
Nice.
Me da risa que los...
Oh, guys, we're having a small thunderstorm here, but it's just the jungle. It happens.
No hay apoyo para opción de sustentable alternativa, ¿no? No está apoyada, está como muy tachada de se va a caer o no sigue. Está cambiando por el interés de la gente, pero así tiene el apoyo del gobierno, el apoyo de compañías. No, la gente, o sea, profesores...
Alright guys, so we are having a quick rain break and we'll be back in a few seconds. We are here talking to the wonderful 3 architects and talented creators that are joining us. We're having a beautiful conversation about sustainable materials. We started with Super Adobe and now we're transitioning into other techniques that they are exploring, excited to explore or actively working. We're having a little bit of a rainstorm. It's raining pretty hard. Give us a minute. We'll be back after this short commercial break.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, rain difficulties. Ooh, let's
Mother Earth and reality.
Mother Nature.
¿Tú no has construido con bambú? ¿Y cómo lo sientes? O sea, porque más o menos es ahí cuando sientes.
Para mí no tiene, es lo que te digo, como algo intentable en el desierto.
¿Qué hacemos? ¿Cortamos el vivo? ¿Ah? ¿Cortamos el vivo? No, tenemos un ratico, voy aquí a hablar. Alright guys, is anyone online that has any questions and would like to drop any comments? It's on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're streaming live on Twitter as well, if anyone wants to check that one out. It's my personal Twitter channel. Let's check the hotline if anyone's been asking any questions. Alright, let's see, we got a couple of questions from some communities that are around the world and tuning in. A lot of them here in Mexico, as our campaign started in Quintana Roo with Diego's community, Icumal, and we are now working with various projects around Mexico, the Yucatan, and starting to connect with international projects, all seeking to create regenerative communities, living spaces that are self-sustaining in terms of water, energy, food, waste, and create a regenerative space for humans to connect, work together, and make positive impacts for the planet, to make things better than we're finding them these days. The rain's coming down. We're grateful for the plants. Everyone gets some water. We're happy to take some questions right now in case anyone's around. We're on our Facebook channel. We're on our YouTube channel, Regen Tribe. ¿Quieren hacer unas preguntas? ¿Tienen algo de...? Ok, linda. Ven, te introduces, ven. ¿No? ¿Te da pena? Ok. Ajá. No, está bien. Okay. Yeah, so we have a guest here in the audience. She's an architect as well. And interested in this space of sustainability and using more of these techniques. So it's nice to get a range of experiences, practices, interests to figure everything out. Yeah, the rain's really coming down. No, el internet es buenísimo aquí. ¿Qué se te mojó? ¿La tuya? ¿La roja esta? Oh shit. Okay, we got some computers rained on, but we're gonna survive. Okay, Mariana, cuéntame más. Tell us more about the workshop next week.
Me cambio.
Si quieres sentarte aquí, sigue.
¿Me vas a quitar el micro? Listo. El workshop es como ya mencionado antes, colored English, Spanish, yeah, so they provide, like, I took 2 of these workshops with amazing teachers. Big shout out to Rancho Ruja in Guanajuato and David in Italy. So, you know, Color Earth is like the institute. So you just follow what he was saying. He didn't take a workshop, but he was just following the book.
Right.
So there's very simple steps that you follow, and like you have the chain. Don't go bigger than this.
Right,
Don't go
right,
like
right.
as long as you stay within those.
Stick to the recipe.
Yeah, if you stick to the
Right.
recipe, you're gonna be fine. You know. So yeah, we're gonna be covering like theory classes from soil to foundations to plastering to why is art such a like strong you know, structurally speaking, and hands-on. So we're gonna be yeah.
So the workshop is Monday to
So Monday 25th to May the 6th. So it's
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
it's like 12 days.
Oh, wow.
We'll have a day and a half off in the middle because
Okay.
we're not used to using our bodies in that way. So
Right, right.
we'll have a little rest in between. The place is called Liyum. It's amazing. It's a beautiful cenote and they have a beautiful restaurant. So, you know, we get to live in the jungle next to a cenote while building. It's gonna
Nice.
be
That's gonna be really wonderful.
yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about being in a workshop setting?
Teaching. Just like being able to be in that position to share my knowledge with people that are. I was that person. I was the one seeking that at one
Right,
point,
right.
and it was not easy to access. So for me to be able to provide that for the people that are, and to see how people feel so empowered at the end.
Right.
Like because it's so fast. You know, just imagine in 10 days you're gonna build a structure, and to people to witness, to see that, to see it in their face and be like, we just do that? Did we just
Right, right.
10 random people with no skill set of building? Did we just create a structure? So that's,
Right. We just created a home,
yes,
right?
exactly.
Shelter.
Yeah.
This is like the base need in Maslow's hierarchy as humans that we seek.
Nadir, which is the architect that came up with the technique, his mission, his vision for this was he wanted everybody in the world to have access to a shelter.
Right.
He was really like refugees, homeless people. He was like, there's no reason why. Like everybody should have access to a shelter, to a home, to a space that it's like sacred, you know, for them. So the whole, you know, behind like this is the main dome building interest, and now you can be hybrid and make a lot of things and make them bigger and make a mansion, but you know the core was that. So
The
I
core
think-
is housing for every person on this planet.
exactly.
Right, right. And this is quite a mission,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean,
to
hopefully.
share with others.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people attend. I see it in a lot of rural communities. You know, they want to be like the city. They want to build with bricks. And I mean, who am I to say to no? But like, if I can provide another
Right.
option, and just for people to see that, and you know, not to shout it on anyone, but just like, hey, this is another way you can do
Right,
it.
you can consider this.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So showing like a showcase, I think it's also beautiful to be in a place like Tulum or like Rio, just like more people can see it. Sometimes I think we live in this on the internet, on social media, and you see all these things, but like, how real is it? So when
Right.
you're able to be in a space and I'm like, oh yeah, this exists. Oh yeah, you can do it. Oh yeah, it works. And like, so providing those spaces for more and more people to have the experience. And it's not just a picture, it's not just a story.
Right,
but
right.
you're actually in it, or you actually build it yourself.
The practical application, the
Yes.
hands-on thing is where it really comes home.
Yeah.
Right, and these experiences are immersive experiences.
Yes.
Where you learn something, and when you go back home, it sticks with you,
Yeah.
and you continue to think about it.
It's an investment, you know. You're investing like a lot of your time and like resources, and you know, you probably, if you have a job, you have to take time off. Like,
Right.
it's a commitment, but it's so much more than that for me. It's just that every one that I've been a part of, they're just, and you create friendships that will last hopefully a long, long time. Because you're like-minded people and you're doing the same thing. So they're very magical places.
Yeah, right. Humans working together to accomplish a goal is like one of the strongest ways to build camaraderie.
Yeah.
You know, so
You share this like link, you create this like energy, this link,
Right,
this way that
right.
you, and you'll carry that. You'll always remember, you know, like each dome, each construction workshop. Like I look back at all the ones that I've taken, so there's always brings me a smile to my face
Right.
and fire to my heart. So yeah, that's very nice.
Okay, beautiful. Cool. So, do you have anything that you'll be working on when you get back to Nepal specifically?
Probably going to be offering another workshop over there in that part of the world. But we have a camp. We have a communal camp. We live in community. We have like a shared kitchen, a shared like we have a teepee, shared showers, dry latrines.
Do they have an
greenhouse.
Instagram or a website?
Yeah,
This place?
yeah.
I would love to check it
It's
out.
called Conscious Impact.
That's the Instagram.
Yes, and their website. So it's an NGO that we do like community projects. We do agriculture, we do natural building, we do youth empowerment, and at the same time we live as a community, like an intentional community. We share meals, we all cook for each other. We all
really cool.
It's a great way to live.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
I would actually love to connect with this community.
Yeah.
Connect
please.
with the group that's organizing it. We haven't spoken much about our mission,
Yeah.
right? But our goal is to identify these kinds of communities, connect with them, share their story through our networks and through the internet, which is
Yeah.
our space,
Yeah.
and ideally connect them with others,
Yeah.
right? Ask them what they need help with. Because there's tons of people out there that are excited to get involved, learn, and kind of join this community of community creators.
Yeah.
This is what we're putting together.
This place, like our mission, it's to connect with others, with yourself, and with Mother Earth. Like it's all about connection. And when you live in community, like it just works, and it's so like you're sharing the load. And when you live in service, it's such a different way of living. It's a different mindset, and like right now, it's just me and my husband living together.
Okay.
And the dynamics are just very like different. Like you have to cook 3 meals, you have to clean 3 times, and we live. Sometimes it's like 50 of us, and I do 1 chore a day.
Right.
I just cook once, or I just clean dishes once, or I just do the like once. Like it's a more sustainable way of living. You have
Yeah.
a lot more time and energy to do other things. And I
true.
think when you're living in a non-communal kind of setting, it's a lot more work. I'm putting a lot of energy into like what seems to be very basic things. I was like,
Right. I couldn't agree more. I'm really happy we just kind of brought this topic up of communities. How long have you lived in community?
Since 2015.
Okay, this
Yeah.
community in
Yes.
Nepal.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah,
I got my heart. My home is there. It's
I imagine. No stuff. Okay.
yeah. So if you want to volunteer or live in community, I know it's in the other side of the world, and our dream and we hopefully to one day have it somewhere closer. But for now, we're there. So if you're thinking about being in Asia or
Yeah, so
that
we
side.
actually have the intention of going to Nepal specifically.
Really? So this is our coffee co-op
Yeah.
that we've created. We wanted to do reforestation, and the community, they're 5 hours from Kathmandu, the capital city. They want income. So where do we meet? With cash crops. So coffee
Okay.
works.
Yeah, what are you guys
great.
doing? Coffee.
Coffee. Yeah. So we have this co-op. We've created like over 60 farmers, and we've planted at this point over 30,000 coffee trees.
Wow.
Yeah, and we started harvesting 2 years ago, and it's just amazing. Not to have like somebody was asking me before, like, oh, do you have like a vision or like to get there with an intention of something, or like, and you need to. When you're going to be of service, you cannot come with this idea like, oh, I'm bringing. You don't know what the people need. Like
Right.
you need to be truly of service, be there, be present. What do they want? What do they need? Because maybe for me as a white woman from Mexico, my needs
Right.
look very different than like
Right.
somewhere in
Yeah,
Nepal.
this is a big oversight by organizations that come with the best intention of helping.
Yeah.
They come and skip the first step of permaculture, which is to observe and learn from the surroundings, specifically the locals that have been there and know the things that work and don't work. We tend to come, again, with good intentions, but with our experience and our perspective, and we think that doing this will help. And sometimes it does help in the short term, but once those parties leave, that system very rarely sustains.
Yeah.
And it becomes a building nobody uses or structures that are no longer maintained or kept.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to hear this process. From
Yeah,
you.
I mean, we have such a we live in the community. We're there right
Right.
next to them. It was after the earthquakes. Like we still today live in tents. Like our sleeping areas are tents. We have everything communal, and our commitment was like we're not gonna build anything permanent until everybody has been built.
I'd love
And
to see
just
that, yeah.
living in the community is such a different. You have a different understanding, and they're shy. It takes time for them to really truly open and share like what they ask. And yeah, just as, the intention is there, and the intention is always great. But like just an example, like I have friends working in La Sierra with the with Radicas, and this NGO, and, they came with the best intention. Oh, we're gonna build toilets,
Okay.
and they don't have toilets. Oh my God, where people like, and they build toilets, and for them like water is sacred. Like they didn't use the toilets. They use it as storage. Like again, the disconnect. The intention is there,
interesting,
but there's such a
yeah.
deep this connection of like, what do they need? I think they need toilets. Did you ask them? Have you
Right.
spent time there?
Right.
Maybe like their needs are
Right.
completely different of what
Right,
you
right,
you
right,
thought.
right.
So spending time and just really understanding what their needs are, and be able to help them in whatever shape, way, or form.
What would you say is a challenge that you can identify from having lived in this community setting?
Trust and communication.
Okay.
People will tend to, they do see you as, you're an outsider. It takes time for them to truly open up and say yes, or like it's at the beginning, like yes, everything is yes.
Right.
But then, even when we spent the first year, we're like, okay, it was very clear we're helping. They didn't believe that we're going to come back because people have come before us.
Okay.
People, the governments, people.
Right.
They
Other
promised
organizations
things. Other
promising,
organization-
saying they're
exactly.
going to help.
So there's
Right.
this distrust. And after they see that you're really there, that you're committed, then they start to open up and to really share. But yeah, we just come from very different language, different religion, different everything.
Right.
So it takes time to make that connection. And you're always gonna have, you never, I mean, in life and everywhere, you're never gonna make everybody happy. And being okay with that, being okay, and just trusting that we're trying to do our best. We're trying to, it's a, just light, just very lighthearted and trying to do the best work, and it'll be welcomed by some and not by others, and
Right,
just being
and
okay
that's
with that.
normal, and that's life.
Yeah.
Right, that's
Yeah.
life.
The
Okay,
challenge,
cool.
I think just the communication and trusting. Trust takes time
Yeah.
with small rural communities.
Right.
So.
Angel, have you ever lived in a community setting?
Yes. Yes, as I told you in Spain, I had this wonderful, I call it sabbatic year, but it was not sabbatic, I was working, but I was just not being paid.
That's the best.
But that was my only sabbatic year, and I was 6 months in Almeria in a beautiful community, Cortijo Al Hammam. You can Google. It's beautiful. Beautiful is they do ecological schools to the kids, so people from the cities are going there to see how to learn how they farm and to learn how compost, and we were growing our own food and composting our things. And we were also doing some building and nice projects, and there was always like yoga retreats and whatever, ayahuasca retreats and family constellations. So,
Right.
and it was full of volunteers all the time
What country was this in?
in Almeria, in Spain.
Almeria. I want to pull this up real quick. Yeah.
And that's how I got into the Eco Village network, and I started like networking and doing some like links with the eco communities and the Eco Village network. Festivals every year were amazing. People from a lot of communities talking about their experiences and the community living. And that's where I jumped from. My journey went from I wanted to study arts, architecture, natural building, eco techniques, permaculture, then community, and then I realized that everything it's in here,
Right.
So that last years before coming to Playa, I studied a master in psychotherapy.
Okay.
And actually on COVID I was starting another master in psychology to complement.
Right.
But I got busy, so I'm stuck there. But yeah, psychology is also like my passion
Right.
somehow. But it's for me, it's very interesting. Not just the building, you know, what's around.
The humans inside of the building.
humans inside.
Right, right. Yeah, and in terms of community, a lot of the times we see the biggest challenge as finding the land or building on the land. Or running a business for finances
the
of the
legal
land.
factors and financial factors.
Right, right. And we
social-
assume, stepping into the space originally, that these are the hardest things. But it turns out that the most challenging part is the human element, is
Yes.
getting the people to connect, communicate, and learn how to work together effectively.
Yes, yes. We were talking about Villa, the duende, right? And I was telling her that I love the project,
Yeah.
but much more than because of the building. I love the project because it has like different type of architecture. So
Right.
I kind of like that, you know. That is like what we were saying, like you can feel the exploration.
Yeah, totally.
But more than that, I like what they have created. You know, I think there was. I don't know really. I don't really know the project, but I went there. I started going there 1 year something ago, so
Yeah.
I think it was pretty recent.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, 1 year and a half ago.
Maybe
probably.
the Ecoferia or something.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
one of the
of
events.
course.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But the activation and you know all the things around and what they have created
Right.
is beautiful, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's more valuable than the site or the construction.
Right. A lot of the times we find that these spaces, without the focus on the human elements, end up not working. You know, and so
Empty.
right.
And not being used.
Sometimes they end up as hotels, or they end up as retreat centers where just the people working there are living there. It's tough. You know, it's a challenge a lot of the times to co-share spaces and figure out all the normal challenges of life while always being in front of each other all the time.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, you also have living community, and
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
community brings you the best and the worst. It's like
Right.
we all are mirrors to it.
This is the
So, like,
reality of it, right?
Yeah, you need to face your demons, and and the others also
And
need
you're
to face
staring at them all the time because you're seeing all of the people around you. Yeah.
You can't hide. Your true self. Your true self from your start. Like you're sharing everything: meals, food, work, thoughts, dream. Like
Right.
you're sharing. You're sharing the load. So it's really you're held accountable. And I think personally, what I love about the community in Nepal, what brings us all together is being of service because we're helping the community. So that's the one thing that we all have in common.
Right.
Regardless if my interest is building, regardless if your interest is like youth empowerment, like we're all here to serve others, and that's where you come like together. Because in a lot of community, I've seen it as well. Like they start having issues for like this, very stupid things,
Yeah, right,
and like all
right.
this drama is created. And I think maybe sometimes it's lacking. Like you need more than I want to live in the jungle. Maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
You need
oh.
something else to like bind you.
It's
together.
a journey because
Yeah.
it's about the people. It's like any company organization, you know, there are some beautiful ones and some ugly ones, and it's so I think it's a lot about the people, but I think also it's a lot about the like the mechanics or the processes. Like
Yeah.
you can have wonderful people, but like if there's no structure,
Right.
there's no order, there's
Right.
no
Right.
like.
Right.
Just anarchy, like anarchy doesn't work. Like,
Right.
like, I mean, it's beautiful but you need to
As
have
hu-
some order,
Right,
some,
right.
and some flexibility, like what we talk in Dragon Dreaming, right? Like,
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, as humans, we thrive with some structure, like dependability, you can say, where we know that every Tuesday and Thursday we're gonna have a community meeting, and every Wednesday and Friday we're gonna have a talking circle, where everyone can share their emotion and share how they're feeling about things. So yeah, with this question, living in communities, experiencing all of this, you guys, what are some practices that you've observed living in these communities or spending time in these communities that you felt really brought value to the space? In Nepal, any like regular ritual that you guys have? Like on Wednesday night, we pass a stick around and each person speaks with that stick. for
Calling
example.
each other like heart to heart.
Right.
I think that brings value to the living community.
What is it?
Hugging.
Hugging.
each other.
Okay, right, yeah. Uh-huh.
Like non-violence communication, just being really respectful of everyone's. I think they're offering the spaces for like maybe some people. There's some people they don't really need to like share what they're feeling, but some people really need those spaces, and sometimes you can come up at like the wrong time.
Right.
So offering
Right.
a fire circle, a singing circle, so people can express that.
Right.
We have gratitude circle every night. So every night before
Beautiful.
we have dinner, we just say something that you're grateful for that day, and it could be the dog that walked by, and like it could be anything. And I think that's a beautiful practice. It's just at least once a day, you're just being grateful
Cool.
for something that day. That's one of the practices that I love, and I
Right.
still carry with me.
That's a
Try
good
to.
one.
Before
Cool,
dinner,
cool.
just say something that you're grateful for. And
Cool.
when you're doing it as a circle, it's just also like
Yeah, collective gratefulness,
Yeah.
right? Synergy.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the I think my favorite part of community that makes it worth the effort of facing your demons and facing the mirrors. It's the synergy that comes from collective effort. You know that the sum of the collection is more than the individual
Yes,
parts.
Totally.
All right, practices, you guys. You said hugging, right? Hugging is an important one. As humans, we need touch. When we touch each other, we release feel-good hormones in our brains and creates connection between the people. So get your hugs in every day, you guys. Anything, Angel, that you experienced while you were living there?
Yeah, of course. I'm happy just to remember. In this community, for example, we were waking up, and there was kind of a routine because there were some, let's call it work frame,
Right.
whatever. So we were actually going to the field, and we were chanting. We were chanting
Okay.
earth songs,
Right.
stuff like that. And we were having breakfast, so yeah, it was very nice to chant, and grabbing our hands. And
Right. Physical touch, the power
and
of
every
voice.
15 days, I don't remember, we were doing also this management meeting, talking about the management and how to do things better.
Right.
and
Okay.
all
This is
that.
the structure of the community,
Yeah.
right? The governance is like
Government,
a big
yeah.
topic.
I
Govern.
think so.
How do we decide together?
Mhm.
When we disagree, because it's inevitable,
Yeah.
how do we find the middle best
Yes.
and quickest so that we can all agree and continue the journey?
yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So today's conversation was essentially bioarchitecture, right? Sustainable design for housing. Is there anything else that you guys would like to touch on? Something that you feel isn't spoken about enough in this world of development, construction, building, housing?
I think just that you don't need to be. I mean, it's nice to be an architect and an engineer, but just everybody to know that you can build your own,
Cool.
your own structure. You have the skill sets to build your own space, following guidelines, so it doesn't fall
Right.
on top of you. But that you can. Don't feel that it's impossible. Reach out, read, take workshops, invest in that knowledge, and that that it's there and the options are available. And that cement and steel are not the only ways to build.
Right, cool. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, right. We see with all three of you, none of you were taught in formal schooling about any of these techniques. You guys were pioneers to go out and look for it, and this is awesome, you guys. This is I feel super grateful to be sitting with you guys, having seen your journeys and being involved as well. It's really beautiful. Thank you guys for doing what you did.
Thank you.
All right, Diego, takeaways.
Takeaway. What I can think about the takeaway is that that people should not be limited, but also not trying to just build for building, for just make money and build more. Just stop too much building and rethink probably in the building that we have already to make them more sustainable, more ecological, and less development and hurting the jungle.
Right.
It's more focused on this aspect. To defragment it less. We were talking about the Tren Maya. The best option is not to have it, and that's it. Right. Have it or in the middle over there or over here. It can be best if we just stop a little bit.
Right.
And but also always thinking on sustainable techniques. Always thinking about if you are going to do something because of the cocoa tree, they are hempcrete, they are geodesic domes, there are different bamboo, many techniques that we have them there, but we just don't know them.
Right.
So they apply them in different types of the world. So it's just more education, probably more education, more knowledge, and everything is in the web.
Right.
Easily. Everything is in the internet, so everyone has access to it nowadays.
Right. So beautiful point you guys brought up together that education's free pretty much today, right? I've learned permaculture from YouTube videos and from what we did at Ikumo. This has been my schooling, just how you guys learned bio and sustainable techniques. So the information's out there, you guys. You can get it, you can YouTube it, you can learn it how Diego did, and start building from little to bigger. Cool. Okay, Angel, any messages to leave? Messages for the audience, for the people out there?
Well, I think I agree with Diego. I think when we talk about sustainability or humanity or whatever, because at the end everything is connected and everything is holistic. I think the worst part is like the ego and this ambition of the human, you know?
Right.
So sometimes being sustainable is much more than the material. It's about not doing something that you don't need, you know?
Right.
Like people like want big houses, you can have small ones. You know, like right now we are full of people. We talk about the development, how is you know, eating the jungle.
Right.
We can stop the development because every time we're more people and everybody wants their own house and everybody wants cell phones and big car, and so
Right.
the more we can be humble and require less and enjoy more about, you know, our inner life and, you know, community and sharing with others and collaboration, you know, I think that will be that's what I want to take away and
Okay.
what I would like to share. You know.
Okay, beautiful. I'm a big fan of this message, right? The collective effort.
Yes.
Why do each of us need a car if we're all neighbors and we all only use the car once a week, for example, or at different parts of the day? Putting the energy into finding how we can share things, right, is pretty much the basis of what a community is about.
Yeah.
And so these workshops are with the purpose of introducing this concept of community living to people, regenerative communities specifically, that use sustainable techniques to create these spaces of that promote sharing, that promote co-living and collaboration.
Right.
Okay, very cool, you guys. Well, this was a great day. We shared a bunch of topics about architecture, about techniques, about all of your experiences. Everything is on the YouTube channel. We put links to your accounts, to your pages on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook channel. Thank you guys for joining today. Anything else you want to leave with the group? Projects maybe that you're working on? I always like to end with, this is something I'm working on, and this is something I could use help with. If anyone is out there listening, watching, reach out to me. I would love to have a collaboration with somebody. This concept of sharing skills and thoughts. If you guys would like to share, project you're working on, and something you could use support with.
I have one.
Okay.
I have one. We're in the process of developing a community dome, and it's a 6 meter height with a wing of a water system
Right.
treatment,
Mhm.
with everything with rain recollection and hybrid with the cenote water.
Cool.
So we can put the best water that we can have for our body.
Mhm.
And the dome, it will be like a small cooking camp. It will hold like little pots.
Okay.
So everything will be, it's already round. So it's a cistern down of it of 6 meters diameter.
Mhm.
And we're going to do walls of eco bricks.
Eco bricks.
Supported by individual
Okay.
bamboo. And living like entering and going up there like this staircase that is there. but
Spiral.
in a
Yeah.
spiral way, like a little cooking kind of place. So it will host like 8 persons
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
in this place and some toilets and this is what this new project. Also in the meanwhile, agroforestry. The people want to learn how
Right.
to plant their own food. And in May we're going to open the space so people can come in and work with us.
Cool.
And yes, this is the 2 things that are happening right now. And
Are you planning a workshop around building this dome one day or a series of days so people can come and help?
Yes, probably at the end of May.
Okay, nice.
I need to start thinking how it will be because right now in the process, probably this can go to to the universe and ask for eco bricks already done, so we can use.
Okay, so EcoBricks, number one ask.
Yeah.
Collecting. We did a campaign last year with Josie and a bunch of schools. We gotta go again.
Eco bricks in the construction,
Right.
in the foundation.
Uh-huh.
So we upcycled a lot of eco bricks in the last year.
Right.
So this year is the time to build on the sky.
How many do you think you need?
Like roughly 5,000. Right now I have like 1,000.
Okay, nice. Cool. Okay, so EcoBricks. And maybe some volunteers to come and learn and help with the
Exactly.
dome and with the forestry.
Then it's
Okay, beautiful. Cool. Beautiful ask. If anyone's interested in this, it's places to learn, places to practice, and to spend time with these masterminds. Okay, Mariana, Angel?
I think I've made my workshop announcement
Okay.
already.
Right, workshop. We have
starting
a
on
workshop
Monday.
starting Monday. It's
Yeah.
for 12 days.
Yeah,
Near
exactly.
Tulum.
Near Tulum, 15 minutes away.
Mhm. Everything you need to learn about Super Adobe.
Everything, theory, practice.
Cool.
There's a beautiful cenote if you want to jump in the fresh heat. And afterwards, I'll be in Nepal, so if you ever are in that part of the world.
Okay, very cool. All right, so workshop for Mariana. We'll be sharing links. Her Instagram is here. And stay tuned for more info. DM us, send us messages. Angel.
Well, I will join you guys in your project for sure. Well, I'm very focused right now in my personal project in the jungle,
Right.
and in parallel working these two other projects in Francisco May. So
Are you doing the tiny house on your project?
I'm starting to do the master plan.
Okay,
'Cause, You
cool.
know, first we need to do the topography.
course,
So
uh-huh.
we are working. I'm going with the topographer in this week actually.
Nice, nice.
I'm going to do probably the tomography to see if we have like cenotes.
This
or
is to study
caves.
the floor underneath and see where the caves and the
yes,
floors.
'cause,
Okay,
you know, if you want to build,
Right.
Yeah, I want to do it properly. So
good job. Yeah, cool.
I might go slower, but you know more
Sure and
safe.
steady wins the race.
Yes. yes.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah,
Any
I'm there.
asks? Any
Well, not
anything to the universe, to the world?
Yes, I mean my wish, and you know this because we have talked about. I call this an open project.
Okay,
So yeah, it took me a while to reach that point of buying this land,
right.
but I like to say it's an open project because I really like community sharing and living. So of course I have my ideas and I want to develop my ideas, but the project is open for
Right.
anybody to come and collaborate. So
Cool.
for example, if somebody have an idea of using the land for something, you know, I'm open to, you know, to collaboration, to investment, to like, you know, concession, you know,
Cool, cool.
like
How big is the land?
2 hectares. So yeah, right now I have, you know, just a little capital, so I'm planning to start by building some small
Right.
like rooms, studios. So we at least I can move there, and some people can move there,
Right.
and maybe start renting it out, or like, you know, with collaboration, maybe, you know, having collaboration in exchange of the
Right.
housing, and hopefully having like a little family there which
Beautiful.
can help, and you know, with the land and cook, and you
Cool.
know, start living.
All right,
a
very
little
exciting.
bit
Very exciting.
off
This,
the grid.
this goal is a big part of what we are working towards by
Yes.
growing this community of community creators, as we all are, to facilitate the asks, the shares, and the collaboration between people that
Yes.
find interest in this and want to build things together. Because it takes
Correct.
a tribe to build a village. And so
Yeah.
this is what these days are about.
So I'm meditating this. I'm trying to manifest from my magnetic
Yeah.
field.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you just
there.
use your voice to put it into power, and it's
Yeah.
going to keep going, man. Awesome. Awesome, you guys. All right, well, beautiful day. Thank you guys for joining today. Experts in the sustainable world. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for tuning in. And stay tuned for more of the magic that we'll be sharing in the following workshop series for the next few weeks. Sustainable Systems is next week. And send us info, send us questions. If you'd like to join on a call, we'll tune in next week. Bye, guys. Oh. All right. Awesome, you guys. Thank you.